In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the rear upper control arm on your Nissan Rogue, located right here in your rear suspension. Let's go ahead and remove that center cap. Just put your fingers behind the cap here and gently tug outward. Using a 21mm socket, let's get it loosened and remove the lug nuts. Now that you have the lug nuts removed, go ahead and grab that wheel, pull it off, and set it aside. Using a 21mm deep socket and ratchet, we're going to go on the nut side of the bolt here. Just checking to make sure that the bolt itself is not spinning like that. It's spinning right now. We're going to put a 21mm wrench on the bolt side. So once you get that nut out a little bit, you can switch over to the shallow socket for better clearance and help you get that out. Once we get the nut out or off, we're going to go ahead and work that bolt out. Tap that out. Using a 21mm socket on the bolt side and 21mm wrench on the nut side, go ahead and loosen that bolt. I'm going to leave the bolt in there, remove that nut. Let's go ahead and remove this bolt here. Just going to use a small pry bar to go between the upper control arm and the knuckle. Loosen that up. With that loose, we can go ahead and remove the inner bolt the rest of the way. I'm going to remove this 10mm bolt holding our ABS wire bracket right here. Pop our ABS wire out there. Give us a little bit more room. I'm going to use a pry bar to go between this bracket and our coil spring. We're going to go, what we want to do is press our suspension down. Insert the upper control arm into the chassis there. Go ahead and flex your arm down and feed that into the knuckle. So once you wiggle this around into place, you can go ahead and use your pry bar, get down behind the knuckle and the control arm here. What you want to do is just kind of work that up into place. Before we put the bolt through here, let's go ahead and install the inboard bolt first and get that nut started. In order for us to line up our inboard bolt, we're gonna go ahead and just line up the outboard portion of the control arm here. We're just gonna throw a bolt in here just to lock the control arm in place. We're gonna go ahead and pull on the knuckle outward, and that will pull the inboard part so we can go ahead and get the inboard bolt lined up. Now feeding my pry bar in, and you can go above or below the control arm and up against the chassis to go ahead and manipulate this to get that to line up. Using a pry bar for leverage, we'll move that around a little bit. Now I actually sprayed some spray lube in there to go ahead and get the friction of the metal components to lighten up a little bit. Now we're using our pry bar to go ahead and get this arm to line up again. So you get that lined up, and then we'll slide a bolt in. Go ahead and work that bolt in. Okay, now that we have that bolt in, let's go ahead and install the nut. At this point here, let's go ahead and jack up the rear suspension to its natural ride height where the suspension is fully compressed. Then we can go ahead and torque down the bolts. I'm going to torque the upper control arm inward bolt to 130 foot-pounds. Torque down the bolt on the outer upper to 111. Once you've torqued down your bolts, you can remove your jack. Install the ABS wire bracket. And snug down the bolt. Go ahead and grab that wheel, line that up, slide that into place. Let's go ahead and get all of our lug nuts started by hand. Once these are all on, we'll go ahead and snug them down. Let's go ahead and torque down our lug nuts to 80 foot-pounds. Once you have these torqued down, I'm going to go ahead and install your wheel cap. I want to pay attention to the notch right here. That is where your valve stem is going to go. You're all set. After finishing this installation, it's important to have an alignment done on your vehicle.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.